Hi guys, in this lesson I'm going to show you how you can install WordPress on an EC2 instance and then connect it to the RDS database. So this will give you a bit more of a sort of practical understanding of building an application and actually connecting it through. So from our last lesson we should have successfully deleted our read replica, so that's gone, and we've just got our main database now. And what I'm going to do is go to another tab where I'm going to go into the EC2 management console. And what we're going to do in EC2 is we're under instances, we're going to launch an instance. It's going to be in the same region as my database. I'm going to choose Amazon Linux 2 AMI, keep it as a T2 micro, click next, leave all the defaults here, and storage is okay, and then security group, we're just going to select our web access security group again. So let's click review and launch, acknowledge our key pair and click launch instances. So that's going to launch, and once that's launched I'm going to connect in, and we're going to need to configure the instance and install WordPress. It looks like our EC2 instance is ready. I'm going to copy the public IP address, come over to my command line, make sure that I've got my key pair available in the directory, and then I'm going to run ssh-i, put in the name of my key pair file, and then ec2-user at, and then the IP address, and that's how we connect to our instance. So I'm logged on, and now we need to run some commands. So in your download, and you'll find the course download in the last lesson of section 1, go into Code and Files, RDS, and then you'll find this install-wordpress.sh file. So there's quite a few commands in here. We need to run all of these commands, and you either have to run sudo to elevate your privileges before each command, or switch to the sudo user by running sudo su first, and then you can run the commands exactly as you see them here. So let's test that out. If we copy yum update -y, and this command is all about updating your packages, and it's a good practice to do it. I can type sudo su, and now I've elevated my privileges, and all I need to do is run yum update -y. So some people, for security reasons, prefer to run sudo for each command. It's up to you. What we need to do once that's completed is just go through and run each of these commands. And all you need to do is literally just copy, paste them, hit enter, and then once the command is completed, paste in the next one. So I've run all those commands, and now we should have WordPress ready and installed on our EC2 instance. So what we need to do is, coming back into the AWS Management Console, let's just copy our public IP address again, or the DNS endpoint, doesn't matter. And in a new tab, I'm going to enter the IP address, and this is what I get. So now I get this WordPress screen, and I can click on Let's Go. I need to put in a name for the database. I'm going to call that Digital Cloud, and I'm going to do the same for the username and the password. And now we need to put in the database host. So of course this is not going to be a local install. We're actually going to be installing our database onto an RDS server. So we need to know what the database connection string is for our RDS database. So back in RDS, let's go into Digital Cloud, and we can copy this address here, and I'm going to paste that in. Now at this point I need to make sure, before I try and connect, that I've set up my security groups correctly. So let's go back and make sure that our security groups are set up to allow access. So at the moment the database is using this default security group. So let's have a look at this security group. So this will allow all traffic from the security group itself. So what we could do is just add our EC2 instances into the security group. Another option is to edit the rules of this security group and actually add the web access security group, which is where our application servers, our WordPress server is. And I prefer to do it that way. So actually what I'm going to do is remove the default rule, and I'm going to add in MySQL. It's going to be port 3306. And then I need to find the security group web access. If you just type SG, you'll then see the security group come up. So I've got that security group. Let's click on save. So what this will do now is actually allow inbound traffic on port 3306 from our servers in web access. So let's just make sure that our database server is in that group. So we can come down to networking, change security groups, and we can see it is in web access. So the firewall is now set up to allow that access. So back in our WordPress configuration, let's click on submit. What we need to do now is copy this information. So this is a configuration file that includes information that's been pre-populated for us. So it tells the DB user is digital cloud, the password is digital cloud, and it has that endpoint for our RDS instance here. So we can literally just copy that, and we need to create something called wp-config.php. So back on WordPress, I'm in my var www HTML directory, and this is where you'll find the files for WordPress. I'm going to use the nano utility to create this file, and I paste this information in. I'm going to save the file and then come back to my WordPress installation and click run the installation. So now I can put in a site title. So I'm going to call this one Digital Cloud. Username is going to be Neil. Password's fine. Email address, I can just give it a fake email is fine. And click on Install WordPress. So that's it. We've installed WordPress on an Amazon EC2 instance, and we've used Amazon RDS for the WordPress database. So I hope you enjoyed that. It's been a lot of fun. And what I'm going to do is just go back in and clean everything up. So firstly, in EC2 instances, we can just go in and terminate our instance. And then back on RDS, let's just go to databases, select our database, and we click on actions, delete. And what we need to do here, it will automatically want to create a final snapshot to keep your data for you. We don't need to do that. And we need to acknowledge that the automated backups are going to be deleted as well, which means, there's not going to be anything left behind. So they want to make sure that you don't do this accidentally. So we type delete me, click on delete, and that database will now be taken offline. So as always, I do recommend that you make sure that things are deleted. So just always check back in and make sure that your resources have been terminated properly. So I hope you enjoyed that, and I'll see you in the next lesson.